Saludos everyone. For my non-Spanish speaking family, it means like greetings, but in Spanish, salud means health. So it's like wishing you well in greeting. I just wanted to do a little video because a lot of email, a lot of words. I don't even read it all, so maybe a video would be more interesting. I wanted to show you guys the second sweet something, which is brought to us by Florida. I had an advisor who really helped me a lot during my internship, and he is someone who appreciates coffee a lot and managed to create a connection with a coffee roaster in the neighborhood. And through this connection, a lot of coffee came to echo, but along with coffee chaff, the refuse from their process, and coffee bags. And these turned out to be really helpful for planting the garden, experimenting with like additions to compost or ground cover, and a good mulch alternative. And anyway, he's just a caring person, this advisor, and one day he said, I have something for you. And we get bags and bags of coffee bags. Each of them are kind of different. We get them from all over. Well, we get them from one place, but they come from all over, it appears. And anyway, this is one he gave me in 2022. Look at that. Café de Costa Rica. La sonrisa del café. The smile of coffee. And this is relevant. Look at that smile. Because in Costa Rica, you probably are aware that they're pretty big on coffee. And even the contact at CFAT, my new supervisor, told me that, well, a lot of things. One is that every day, most of the whole country has coffee in the afternoon at like 3 p.m. It's just the thing you do. So maybe I'll be going to bed later than normal. That'll be a nice life adjustment, do a little more life in my life perhaps. But besides that, she said that, I asked, should I bring like a coffee grinder? It's probably pretty easy to find those. And she said, well, in the store, most of the coffee comes ground already, and the ones that are still whole beans are like older. They stay on the shelf longer, so they're not as fresh, ironically, because everything's just moving through so fast that they just buy it ground and it's ready to go and good and fresh still. So that was a new little tidbit that I learned. But yeah, I wanted to share this because however many years ago, 4 years ago, when he gave this to me near the end of my internship, no one knew that I would be going to Costa Rica tomorrow. So it's just like this little whisper hint of like, hey, you know, even if I weren't to go, it's a good reminder to pray for a place. But it seems like the Lord is always up to something in our lives, and we may not always realize it, and it may feel like he's doing nothing. Like I remember at the end of my internship, it was finally the last day when I heard back from the other prospect of whether they're going to offer me the job somewhere else, or if that not happening, if I should go ahead and stay at Echo. And yeah, I guess I just want to encourage everyone that if it seems like nothing big is really happening in your life, just stick with it and stay curious and stay engaged where you are. And when it's time, like if there's some clear something along your path that's calling you elsewhere or bringing you to think in a new direction, stay open to it. I think that no matter where we are, God is completely at work in our lives, and Yeah, maybe it doesn't look like going somewhere else in a few years. Maybe it looks like being really rooted in your community and um, being so in place that you're able to be creative and give back. That's such a gift too. And I know I've been like mourning the absence of this in my life. Like I don't have super strong roots anywhere, and maybe I could have just chosen to be somewhere and stay there, but if you're anything like me, you understand that there's sometimes something else is calling to you, speaking to you, and it's a lot it's a lot easier to just go with it than it is to stay in place feeling like there's something and I gotta just keep exploring and find out what it is. Who knows what it's gonna turn into? For a while I was thinking, okay, maybe the following is just, maybe that's it. Just discovering, enjoying life along the way from a new place. But no, I think there's actually something more going on. And I'm gonna keep exploring. Maybe both ways is right. Anyway, I've been thinking a lot about that. I'd be curious to know if this has happened to you. What are some little like foreshadowings that were in your life that you didn't even realize at the time, but now are like kind of fitting into the picture in a cool way? I would like to hear that. I think it speaks more to God's creativity and His intentionality and His purposes. I think He's probably doing a lot of it. While we're at it, I'll just tell you one more rather than create a whole other post. The other sweet something is that I grew up being able to go to church camp in the summers for a week or two at a time, and we would always have a missionary family come share about what they're doing, and they're coming to rest, but they're working hard, sharing at camp and teaching us about how God is working in their areas. And one summer I remembered, I'm improving my storytelling skills. What I need to tell you first is that when it came time to go to college, my mom said, just pick something, you're gonna go. And I thought, what do I want to do? And I finally landed on, I remember at church camp one year, like the thing that stuck in my mind, there was this trifold poster board, and in the middle was this beautiful waterfall surrounded by green, lush vegetation. And when I was thinking, what do I want to do? I thought, missionaries have a pretty cool life. Like they get to see more of this world, and they are hopefully helping people along the way. So maybe I want to do that, because both of those things sound really good to me. And yeah. So that in mind, now I've got this opportunity in Costa Rica. By the way, they were in Venezuela. That's where they served. And anyway, I was like, this is just like a few weeks ago, I was looking at pictures of the area in La Tigra, and I saw waterfalls, and at the time it didn't occur to me, it didn't click to me yet, but maybe just like last week, I was thinking about everything again, and I realized, I get to be doing work like for the Lord on behalf of His love, sharing Jesus' love with people in a place where there are waterfalls. That was just a little sweet something that encouraged me. Because at the time when I was thinking about it, I was sort of being encouraged to think about other possibilities for my future. Like, I was told maybe being a missionary isn't really something that's going to make money, so I should think of something else. Or what else am I going to do to help people? And I said, well, I think, that's maybe not the point. I think God's going to provide if that's what He wants me to be doing. I know He will. But yeah, I was encouraged to think about another discipline, and that's what brought me to counseling, because I didn't really want to do teaching, like a big classroom. The class dynamic kind of scared me a little bit, and all the bureaucracy of school stuff here, which maybe wouldn't happen overseas, I don't know. And I thought, well, medical stuff helps people, but I wasn't really tracking that great with science. I really like my science classes, and now I think it's also fascinating, especially chemistry is so cool. But at the time, I was thinking, like, 5 more years of these classes does not sound good. So maybe I won't do medical stuff. And then my youth minister's wife, who was studying counseling, said, have you ever thought about maybe, like, counseling would be a good fit for you? Because people like to, to talk with you and share things with you, and maybe you can be helpful in that way. So there's a whole other story there, but anyway, I studied counseling, kind of like lost focus on mission stuff until my senior year. I was in the missions club, and one of my friends said, hey, what are you going to do now? Actually, it wasn't my senior year. It was when I first graduated with an associate's. Okay, this is getting out of hand. I need to tell you my whole life story later. But for now, tell me, please, what are the little sweet somethings that God has put along your path? Thanks for praying for me, guys. Much love to you, and God bless you. And tomorrow I leave, Lord willing. Alright, thanks for your prayers. Bye.